Morning, gentlemen. I think it's a nice and sunny day, and I'm going to today talk about the counter-offensive of Ukraine. As is well aware, Zelensky and the general staff of the Ukrainian army were planning this counter-offensive for many months, and the Western powers, led by the United States and England, were hoping that with all the weapons which have been given to them to Ukraine, the Ukrainians will be able to throw the Russians at least 50 to 60 miles back. And so the Western powers could say that the counteroffensive has been successful. Unfortunately, gentlemen, nothing of that sort has happened. And my reports indicate that Ukraine has made little or no headway other than capturing 3 or 4 villages here and there. But in the bargain, they have suffered catastrophic casualties. That is mark my words. That means an offensive which is spettering out, and all it has to go to show are the casualties which the Ukrainian army has suffered. Now, this is a very serious thing. It's not so simple, When you mount an offensive, I'll tell you, it is always bargained that you will suffer more casualties than the defenders. Yes, that is part of military strategy. But when you suffer those casualties, the important thing is that you should be able to break through the back of the enemy during this period so that they can move forward. Now the Ukrainians have suffered casualties, but they haven't moved forward. And I think Zelensky is now wondering what to do. He got a snub also when he addressed the Swiss Parliament, and more than half of the members of the Swiss Parliament just walked out of his address. They didn't want to listen to him. So it shows everything is not hunky-dory for him, and there's division in the Western allies as far as supporting Ukraine is concerned. And it has now been accentuated because Ukraine has unable to deliver that knockout blow. They have not been able to do it. On the contrary, what I understand is the Russians have carried out a heavy air bombardment of Kyiv, Kharkiv and other cities in Ukraine, and the Ukrainian Air Force has not been able to do anything at all. The much promised F-16s have not yet come, and even if they come, their result will be zero because the Ukrainians don't have the facilities, neither the aptitude or the trained manpower to fly these sophisticated planes. Basically, it boils down to a land battle in which the Ukrainians have no air cover, and having no cover means that they are at their wit's end. Now, Biden and party have to think, what are they going to do further? The offensive is not going to succeed, and once it peters out, there is every chance that the Russians could launch another offensive from their side. And if they do that, the Ukrainians will be hard-pressed to hold on to what they are having at the moment. Gentlemen, the war is now in its interesting stage, in a very interesting stage. In fact, I can say this is the last chapter of the war. And the Russians are now using Iranian drones to immediately and surreptitiously, as night and day, bomb the Ukrainian cities. Of course, they are losing these drones also. But the balance is in the Russian favor, and what we call a favorable air situation is in the favor of the Russians. The Ukrainians are now wondering what to do. And I've said this is the last chapter of this war, and in another month or two, the Russians will have to do something drastic. And gentlemen, be prepared for that something drastic which is going to happen soon. Ukraine, I'm afraid, has played with fire and going to burn. And it won't be able to rise up from its ashes like the mythical bird, the phoenix. It won't happen. And Ukraine will stay dead forever. a very sorry end to a country like Ukraine, which for years was a member of the Russian Federation and the Soviet Communist state. They opted to go single, eventually played in the hands of the Americans and the British, and in the bargain, the Yell scheme has destroyed Ukraine. We gained nothing. I close now, gentlemen. We wait for the final chapter now, the battle, when Ukraine will be totally vanquished, destroyed. Let's wait and see what happens. In the meanwhile, I will say, Jai Hind, glory to India. Please subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and come back for more. Bye-bye and God bless.